Yes, hello everyone. How are you? I hope that all of you are fine and doing well. Before I move on towards today's actual topic, let me just give you a brief introduction about myself. My name is Muid Ahmed Siddiqui, and I have been teaching students of various professional qualifications like ACCA since 2018. Now, now this is in fact this is my very first batch of SIMA P1 paper, and I will be starting a full course of SIMA P1 for SIMA P1 students soon. Uh, and apart from teaching, I also hold the ACCA affiliate status, which means that I have passed all the exams of the ACCA qualification and I am ACCA qualified. So this was a brief introduction about myself. Let's move on towards the today's topic. And the today's in tonight's live online session, I will look at variances. In fact, the backward calculations of variances. Many students get stuck in backward calculations of variances because it is fairly straightforward to just put variance formulas and calculate a straightforward adverse or a favorable variance. But when it comes to doing a backwards calculation, when it comes to finding out something in the middle of that variance formula, the things really become a little bit complicated for many students. So let's uh, let's start. First of all, what do you mean by the term variance? That the word variance comes from the word vary, which means to differ, something that is different, which means to differ, the difference, or when something is different from something else, this is known as variance. Now, for example, let me make it more clear in the context of a company or in the context of a business. For example, you anticipate for example, we are running a company and we anticipate that we will make purchases of let's say rupees 50,000 $50,000 in a year, but we end up at the end of the year, we end up making purchases of let's say $55,000. So the actual result, this is the actual result. The actual result is different. The the actual result came out to be different what we expected. So there is a variance. So the word variance or the term variance means that our actual results are different from what we actually budget. And speaking of budgets, what do we do in budget? In budgets, we set different standards, and when our results differ from these standards, this is called variance. Moving forward, now in tonight's class, I will tell you what you need to do, what you actually need to understand the backward variance. And I will also move on to look at the sales mix variance. But this will be the main topic for tonight's session, the backward variances. Now, uh, let me tell you something. There are two things. Whenever doing a variance calculation, there are two things. First is the formula. The first thing that you should know is the formula. For example, if I ask you what is the formula for a price variance, material price variance, this is just a simple example. What is the formula for a material price variance? Now, material price, speaking of the price variance, what do you understand by this term? The price variance. The word variance means the difference, and price variance. So this term, the term price variance means that what is the difference? The difference in the actual price and what we anticipated, what we budgeted. So price variance means that there is a difference between the actual price that we purchased at and the price that we expected, the standard that we set for the price for the material purchased uh, at the start or at the start of the period. So how do we calculate material price variance using the formula? We compare two things. We compare the standard price, we take the standard price and we compare it with the actual price, and we simply multiply it by the actual quantity purchased. This is how we calculate the material price variance. Now, on many occasions you will see a statement, or you can normally perform this calculation. I should say that you can perform this calculation instead of finding material price variance in this way. You can simply do it by making a statement. How? The units, uh, let's say the kg is
Um,
the quantity purchased should have
Fraud.
should
Mm-mm.
should have cost but did cost this. Now, the difference between the two will be the material price variance. You should have seen this statement if you have studied material price variance in your BA2 exam. In your From your BA2 knowledge, you should know the two ways, these two methods of calculating.
بس بقى فوق يا راح.
Yes, please
جنفت.
just mute yourself so that it will be a little bit easier for me. It will be a little bit easier for me to talk. Please just keep yourself muted for now, at least. Now, these are the two ways in which we normally calculate variances. The thing is, when you are performing a backward variance calculation, or when in by the term backward calculation, we mean by the term backward variance, calculation of backward variance, we mean that instead of just requiring you to calculate simply requiring you to calculate a simple variance like the material price variance, the examiner or the question, let's say the question, can also require you to calculate one of these: actual quantity purchased, standard price, or actual price. And when you are given a question in this way, when you are given a question in this way, for example, you may be given material price variance, the actual quantity purchased, and the actual price, and you may be asked to find the standard price. When you are faced with a situation like this is known as backward calculation of variances. This is known as backward calculation of variances, and this normally makes things difficult for many students. So in tonight's session, I will tell you what you should know to get a good understanding of backward calculations of variances. Now, the first thing that you should understand, that this statement form calculation, this statement is nothing but only an interpretation of this formula. If your concepts are right about variances, and you know that this statement is actually nothing but actually an interpretation and actually a statement form of this formula, you should be able to get the things right. So the first thing that you need to know is that the formula is interpreted, this statement is not a different way, is not a different method of calculation, but in fact this statement is an interpretation of variance formulas. This is something that you need to understand. Now, if you are asked to calculate, for example, if you are asked to calculate a material price variance, it means that by the term price variance, we mean the difference between the actual price and the standard price. By the term usage variance, material usage variance, we mean the difference between the actual usage and the standard usage. What we expected, how the quantity of material that we expected to use during a given period, and the actual usage, the quantity that we actually consume during the period, the difference between the two is actually our material usage variance. In the same way, speaking of labor efficiency variance, now efficiency, when does an efficiency variance arises? Can you tell me, when does a efficiency variance arises? Speaking of efficiency variance, can you tell me by writing in the chat box, when does an efficiency variance arises? Let's say labor efficiency variance. Efficiency variance arises when the labor workforce, in case of labor, an efficiency variance arises when the labor workforce works faster or slower than what we expected, than our expectation. So efficiency variance actually makes a comparison between actual hours worked, actual hours, and what, and the standard hours, the standards that we set, and the actual hours. These are the things that you should know. And once we once we are clear about the concept, once we are clear about the concept, we can easily uh, we can easily solve an efficiency variance question using either the formula or the statement. But we should be clear about the concept, that what does an efficiency variance actually mean. An efficiency variance arises when the labor workforce works faster or slower than what we expected. Whether they have worked faster also looks at hours worked. Yes, you seem to have a good understanding. You both of you, I have received two answers for the efficiency variance question. Yes, both of you seem to have a good understanding of the efficiency variance. Good answers. Okay then. So the first thing that you need to know about backward variance of about backward calculation of variances is that you should be clear about the concepts, the concepts of the basic variances, like the materials variance, like the labor variance, or the overhead variance. Once you know the basic concepts, you should be able to get the backward variances right. So moving forward, let's look at a question of backward calculation of variances from the revision kit. Mm, just uh, just wait a minute. No. Yes. Yes. Here. Here I have a question from the SIMA P1 kit. Here I have a question from the SIMA P1 Kaplan kit. SS Limited operates a standard marginal costing system. An extract from the standard cost card for the labor cost of one of its product is as follows. Now here you are given some information. Here you are given some information, and as you can see, the variances have already been calculated. Labor rate variance and labor efficiency variance, both these variances have already been calculated. Now, what you are required to do in the question requires you to actually calculate, the question requires you to actually calculate the rate, the actual rate paid per direct labor hour. Now, the question actually requires you to calculate the actual rate paid per direct labor hour. Here, I am giving you a couple of minutes time. Read the question, think over it. Here, I am giving you some time. Take your time, take a couple of minutes, and when I will come back, I will show you I will show you the computation of this particular question, question number 77. So please read this question, get an understanding, make a sketch in your mind, and when I'll come back, I will show you the actual computation of the answer. uh, Here I am taking a 2 minutes break, a couple of minutes break. Please read the question. Yes, labor. Yes. Now, first look at the formula for labor efficiency variance. How do we calculate labor efficiency variance? For labor efficiency variance, yes. How do we calculate labor efficiency variance? Labor efficiency variance is calculated as the labor, yes, standard rate per hour, and this is multiplied by the difference between standard hours and the actual hours. Now, we know from the formula of labor efficiency variance that uh, labor efficiency variance actually compares standard hours against the actual hours, and the difference between the two is multiplied by the standard rate per hour. And we are also given labor rate variance. How do we? So labor rate variance makes the comparison between the standard rate and the actual rate. Makes a comparison between the standard rate and the actual rate, and we multiply it by what? We multiply it by actual hours worked. The difference between the standard rate and the actual rate is multiplied by the actual hours worked. Oh, this may seem to be a little bit, but in fact, this seems to be very, very unclear. Let me make things a little bit more clearer. Yes, actual hours. Yes, actual hours, we take actual hours and we multiply actual hours by the difference between the standard rate and the actual rate. Okay, then. So these are the two formula that we know. Now, in this question, what we are actually required to find out, we are required to find out actual rate paid per direct labor hour. Actual rate paid. So where in these two equations, where can you find the actual rate paid? This here in the formula for labor rate variance, you can see that you can see that we have actual rate. Standard rate minus actual rate multiplied by actual hours is equals to labor rate variance. Now, in the question from the info in the question in the information given, you can see what uh, which of the variables that are given here in these two equations, which of these are actually given in the information. We have to find out, uh, we have to look at which information we are already provided with and how can we use this information in these two equations to actually determine the actual rate. So standard rate, first of all, standard rate per hour. Are we given the standard rate per hour? Yes, we are given the standard rate per hour, and you can see here this is our standard rate per hour. So we are given standard rate per hour, that is $12. Now, are we given the standard hours? Standard hours. Are we given the standard hours? Now, each unit standard cost card. We are given a standard cost card for the labor cost of one of its product is as follows. Now, for each unit, five for each unit, uh, the company expects, this is the standard set by the company expects that the labor force that the labor workforce will spend 5 hours. This is the standard labor hours for one unit. These are the standard labor hours, 5 hours for one unit. And how many? And these are the actual results. These are the actual results for the period. These are the actual results for the period. So, and the company has produced how many units? The company has produced 11,500 units. So, according to the standard, how many hours should the labor have spent producing these 11,500 units? How many hours? How many hours according to the standard, that is 5 hours, how many hours should the labor have had spent? How will we calculate? Simply we will take 11,500 and we will multiply it by the standard, that is 5 hours. So it will become how much? It will become 11,500 multiplied by 5. It will become, yes, it will be like it will be 57,500. It will become 57,500. Now, do we have actual hours? Do we have actual hours? No, we do not have actual hours. And in this formula, from which in the formula for labor rate variance, we need actual hours. We need actual hours to calculate to arrive at actual rate. So first of all, we need to find out actual hours. First of all, we need to find out actual hours. We are given the labor efficiency variance. How much is the labor efficiency variance? The labor efficiency variance is 30,000 adverse. Now, by when we have an adverse variance, when we have an adverse efficiency variance, this means this means that our actual hours should have exceeded, our actual hours are more than the standard hours. Our actual hours are actually more than the standard hours. So it will become like this: minus 30,000. I am putting a minus sign here because of the adverse variance, because this is an adverse variance. The labor efficiency variance is an adverse variance, and minus sign means that actual hours are greater than the standard hours. So it will become 12 multiplied by 57,500. 57,500 minus actual hours. Okay, then. Now solve this equation to get actual hours. Solve this equation to get actual hours. This requires basic knowledge of mathematics. This simply requires you to be good at basic maths. Just solve this equation and you will arrive at, and you will simply arrive at the actual hours worked. Please solve this equation and let me know what is the answer. Please let me know what is the answer. Let me take out my calculator. Now, here 30,000, we will divide this 30,000 by 12, because when we will shift 12 to the left hand side of the equation, we will divide 30,000 by 12 to get 2,500. 2,500. And simply when we will shift this 2,500 to the other side, it will be added to 57,500. Yes. So the actual hours that we will get are how much? Are 60,000. So the actual hours that we will get in this way are how much? Are 60,000. 60,000 actual hours that we will get. So now, we have actual hours for our labor rate variance formula. We have actual hours. We have all the information that we require in formula number 2. We have all the information except for the actual rate. And this is the requirement of the question. Now, the labor rate variance, we are already given in the question that the labor rate variance is 45,000 adverse. So this will become labor rate variance is 45,000 adverse. Actual hours, how much actual hours we have calculated as 60,000. Standard rate, how much is the standard rate? The standard rate is $12. And now we are required to calculate the actual rate. So let's find out. Since the variance is adverse, it means that actual rate is more than the standard rate. So we will put a minus sign. 45,000 minus 45,000 is equals to actual hours. How much are the actual hours? The actual hours are 60,000 as we calculated above. And the standard rate, how much is the standard rate? The standard rate is $12. And simply you need to solve this equation to get actual rate. And when you will solve this equation, how much will you get? Please tell me. Please let me know how much will you get. What is your answer from solving this equation? Mm, yes, you are correct. The correct answer is 12.75. This is the actual rate. $12.75 per hour. $12.75 per hour. This is the actual rate. So you see how how easy it is, how easy it is to uh, solve a question that requires you to calculate back, that requires you to perform a backward calculation of variance. It is not difficult at all. It is not difficult at all. But you should be, one thing that you should be clear about is the basic concepts of variances. The basic concepts of variances should be very much clear to you. You should know the meaning of every variance. What do we mean by efficiency variance? What do we mean by labor rate variance? What do we mean by material price variance? What do we mean by overhead? You should be clear about these things. Once you're clear about all the basic formulas of the variances, backward calculation will not be a problem.
Julio, you know what?
Yes, again and again people are making noise. This is really really irritating. Sitting here and delivering a lecture, and suddenly uh, I am bombarded with someone's voice. It is really 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 irritating, and sometimes a little bit funny as well. So that's why I enjoy taking classes, the live online classes. So these are a few reasons why I why I enjoy taking live online classes, and the interaction with the students is always, definitely always very fascinating. So let's move on with our backwards calculation of variances, and let me look at if I have any other question of backward calculation. Let's look at some more questions of backward calculation of variances. Okay, now in question number 83, in question number 83, yes, please read this question, and read this question and just think over it. Just think over it. How, and just think over it, how will we calculate material purchases in the period? What you are actually required to do, you are actually required to uh, you are actually required to calculate the actual amount of material that is purchased in this period. Just read the question and think over it. It's not so difficult. Nearly the same as the question that we just finished with. Yes. Is it difficult? Take your time. Yes. So, speaking of this question number 83. Now, just think over it. Think over it yourself. If I ask you not to use any formula, not to use any, and just use your own concept, just use your own concept without using any formula, how will you calculate the standard material usage? It is mentioned in the question that standard material usage is 6 kg per unit. Here, the standard material usage, yeah, standard material usage is 6 kg per unit, and 600 units were produced. The actual output was 600 units. So, according to the standard, these 600 units should have taken how much? 600 multiplied by 6, that is 3600 kg. Should have taken 3600 kg of the material. Now, question says, now the question says, the question here tells us that the usage variance was 450 favorable. Now the variance is given in dollars. The variance is given in currency, not in terms of kgs, not in terms of quantity, but in terms of currency. So to convert this variance, to convert this variance to the quantity, what we will do, we will simply multiply, simply divide. We will simply divide this $450 by the standard material price, that is $3, and the answer that we will get is 150 kg. So the difference between the actual usage and what the company anticipated, that is the standard usage, is how much? Is 150 kg. Is how much? Is 150 kg. Now one more thing, this variance is favorable. This variance is favorable. A favorable variance for usage means that the actual quantity used, the actual quantity consumed should be less than or more than. Tell me, what does it mean? Does it mean that the actual quantity is more than or less than the standard quantity? A favorable variance for usage, a favorable variance for usage of material. What does this mean? Does this mean uh, more consumption than what was anticipated, or less consumption than what was anticipated? Yes, good answer. The actual quantity consumed, the actual quantity used, the actual quantity of material used. This favorable variance indicates that the actual quantity of the material used is less than what the company actually budgeted, what the company actually expected. So here I have mentioned that the standard quantity, that the anticipated quantity was 3600. The actual quantity is less than this, and by how much amount? By 150. So it will become 3450, and this is our answer. This is the actual material purchased. Actual material purchased. So one more thing that you need to understand is that when you are given, this is an important point to consider. This is an important point to consider in this question, that when we are given variance in terms of dollars, and we are told the we are told the standard rate, the standard price, we are told the standard price, the standard rate. So we can convert this uh, uh, we can convert this variance that is given in the currency terms uh, into quantity or amount by simply dividing it by the standard material price. You can also you can also understand this in you can also understand it in a better way. You can make it more clear if you solve this question using the material usage efficiency, uh, material material usage variance formula. If you solve this question using the material usage variance formula, the things will become much more clearer to you. So just uh, uh, so the thing that I am trying to tell you again and again is that just do not stick to one thing. Do not just stick to the statement whenever you are solving variances questions or when you are practicing the variance chapter. Just do not stick to the one. Just do not stick to solving each and every question with the help of a statement or each and every question with the help of formula, but try both. Try a mixture of both. You should know statements as well as the variance formulas. Try to get a good understanding of both. How to solve question using these statements in this form, in this way, and how to solve questions using the variance formula. Try to get understanding of both. And once your concepts are clear in that way, once you are able to get things right in that way, once you are able to get a good understanding of both, you should be perfect in this chapter. Now moving forward, let me find out if there is any other question that we can solve tonight. Hmm, sales quantity variance. Now operational variance, operational material usage variance, total favorable sales mix profit of labor efficiency variance. Now actual level of production. Now I think 92 is a good one to solve. Question number 92 is a good one to solve. A company operates a standard absorption costing system. The following fixed production overhead data are available for the latest period. Now here you have to what you need to do in this question. Here you need to uh, put your knowledge of budgets and overhead absorptions to work. How do we absorb overheads or flexed budgets? You need to put your knowledge of budgets and flexed budgets and overhead absorption in this question to get the right answer. I will be really surprised if someone can solve this question for me. This is I think this is a challenging one. I really believe that this is a challenging one. This is a challenging one. This is a challenging one. Now here I am giving you again. I am giving you 2 minutes time to think over it. And when I'll come back, I will solve this question in front of you. Yes, here we are provided with some information. The budgeted output. Okay, let me solve it in this way. We prepare budget every year. Companies, what companies do, they prepare budgets and they compare. There is a fixed budget and there is a flexed budget. This is something that you need to understand. There is a fixed budget and there is a flexed budget. Now, and this budget is flexed. This budget is flexed. And then this flexed budget is compared with the actual results, with the actual results. Now, what happens if you look at this question? If you look at this question, this question actually, this question actually tells us that the budgeted output. Now we talk about the output. The budgeted output was how much? Was 300,000 units. The company budgeted to produce how much? 300,000 units. Okay, this is what the company actually planned according to the budget. Now, and the company also budgeted to spend $1,500,000. The company the company also budgeted to spend $1,500,000 on fixed production overheads as fixed production overheads. Fixed production overheads. How much are the fixed production overheads? Fixed production overheads are 1,500,000. Or should I say production overheads? In fact, production overheads. Production overheads in the budget are 1,500,000. According to the budget, the overheads are 1,500,000. Now, for 300,000 units, the company has a planned budget of 1,500,000 fixed production overheads. This leads us to an overhead absorption rate, an overhead rate or an overhead absorption rate of how much? Of 1,500,000 divided by this, the output level, that is 300,000. It will become how much? It will become $5 per unit. This is the overhead absorption rate. Now, we do not know the actual production, the actual level of production. We do not know. We do not know yet. But we do know that the variance will be how much? Will be 1,500,000, 150,000 adverse. And we do know that the actual fixed production overhead is 1950, 1950, 1.95 million in fact. The actual result is how much? The actual result is, and since the variance, here we should make another column for variance. Now, the variance is how much? The variance is $150,000 adverse. $150,000 adverse. This is the variance. $150,000 adverse. $150,000 adverse. This means the adverse variance again means that our actual expenditure, our actual expenditure is more than what we planned according to the budget, is more than our budgeted, more than the flexed budget. Our actual expenditure on production overhead, fixed production overhead, is more than planned, is more than what we actually planned. So it will become, the flexed budget will become minus 150,000. Yes. So according to the flex budget, the fixed production overhead should be 1.8 million or 1800,000. Now, what we are required to calculate, we are required to calculate the actual output. We are required to calculate the actual output. Now, can you tell me how will we calculate the actual output? Now, can you tell me? We are required to calculate the, in fact, the actual output that should be here. That should be here, because the flexed budget, for flexed budget, what we do, we take the fixed budget, and we multiply the actual output, we multiply the actual activity level to get this result. So what we will do to arrive at the actual output, once we know the flex budget, because the variance of overheads, the overhead variance is actually the result of the actual expenditure and this flex budget. The overhead variance is the difference between these two. The overhead variance is the difference between these two. And how this 1800,000 is calculated in budget? This 1800,000 is calculated by multiplying the actual output. The actual output. In the flex budget, we take the actual output. This is calculated by multiplying the actual output by overhead absorption rate that we have calculated here, $5 per unit. So what should be? So what should be the actual output? Now, we will simply take this and we will divide it by 5 to get the actual output, that is 360,000. Yes, this is the correct answer. The actual output is how much? The actual output is $360,000. Yes, the actual output is how much? The actual output is $360,000. These are the actual results. Now, I think it may not be a little bit clear to all of you. Is this clear? Yes, please let me know. Is this clear? Or is there anything that you need to ask? Please let me know. In the flex budget, to calculate flex budget, what we do, we take the standard rate, we take overhead absorption rate, that we calculated using the information in the fixed budget. First we computed First we found out the absorption rate, that was $5 per unit. And how did we calculate? We just took the numbers in the fixed budget, that were 1.5 million and 300,000 units. So, and we use this rate to get the flex budget, to get the figures for the flex budget. Now, is this clear? This is becoming a little bit difficult. Yes, this is in fact becoming a little bit difficult. Now, Flex budget is the budget that we prepare at the actual activity level. Flex budget is the budget that we prepare for the actual output. The budget that we prepare for the actual output. Now here the output is 300,000. The output is 300,000 and overhead absorption rate. According to this fixed budget, the overhead absorption rate. How much is the overhead absorption rate? We take the production overheads. We take the production overheads and we divide these production overheads by the total output to get an overhead absorption rate. Now, to make a comparison, since this fixed budget is prepared on a budgeted activity level, this fixed budget is prepared on the basis of budgeted activity level, that is 300 units, 300,000 units. So it may not be suitable, for comparison to be made at 360,000 units. So what companies do, they flex the budget. For to actual output, to the actual activity level. This is a budgeted activity level. This 300,000 is what this is a budgeted activity level, and this 360,000 is what this 360,000 is the actual activity level. Normally, what companies do, they flex the budget. They flex the budget. They find a standard. They find a standard rate. They find a standard overhead absorption rate, and they multiply this rate by the actual activity level to flex the budget in this way. Now, in the question, we were given the variance. We were given the variance. We were given the we were given the actual overhead expenditure, and we are given we were gi- but and we were given the actual overhead variance. So what we did, we first found out the production overheads. We first found out the production overheads. We first found out the production overheads in the flex budget, and then what we did, we divided this 1800,000 by 5 to get the actual activity level. This 360,000 is what? This 360,000 is our actual output or actual activity level. This is a variance question. But I demonstrated you the knowledge of budgeting in this question. Why I did so? Why? Because I want to make it clear. I want to make one thing very clear to all of you, that variances arise from budgets. What companies do, what businesses do, they prepare budgets, and when they compare their actual results against budgeted, when they compare their actual results with what they budgeted at the start of the accounting period, at the start of the year, they end up with variances. They end up finding variances. Now, is this clear? So now, is the distinction between the two clear? The fixed budget and the flex budget. Flex budget is for actual activity level. Flexed budget is for actual activity level, but the fixed budget is for is for budgeted activity level. Budgeted activity level is for actual activity level at a, you can say, at a budgeted overhead absorption rate, OAR. So flexed budget, by the term flexed budget, we mean that flex budget is a budget that we prepare at the actual activity level using the predetermined overhead absorption rate that we calculated from the fixed budget. And fixed budget is our actually fixed budget is is our planned budget, or the budget that we prepared at the start of the year. Fixed budget is our budget that we prepared at the start of the year. But due to differences in the activity levels, due to some other factors, we need to, at the end of the year, what do we need to do? We need to flex this budget to a to another activity level, that is our actual activity level, the actual output. And once we flex this budget in this way, we make a comparison between the actual results and the flex budget to arrive at variances. Now, in this question, we were given the variance. We were given the variance. Yes, we were given the variance. We were given the actual expenditure, and we were actually required to work backwards. We were actually required to work backwards from variances and the actual results to finding the actual output here, to finding the actual output. This. So is I think I have made things much more clear to all of you. I think I have made things much more clear to all of you. Is this okay? Do you think is this fine? Is this explanation fine? Or should I spend some more time? Yes. Please let me know by writing in the chat box. Is this explanation fine? Or should I spend a little bit more time? Anything that you need to ask? Uh, because now I am thinking of bringing the session to an end. Please let me know if you have any question. Please. Yes, anything. Yes, anything that you need to ask before I leave. Anything that you need to know. Please let me know by writing in the chat box. Is there anything that you need to ask, you need to know? Anything else? I think it is fine. So it was Muid Ahmed Siddiqui with another live online session from the SIMA P1 exam. Uh, I hope that I gave you enough knowledge. Uh, I made your concepts much clearer, and the and last but not least, I would here I would like to remind you that only knowing formula of the variances and not knowing the concept behind the variances will definitely not help you. So please make sure that apart from knowing the variance formula, you should also know the concepts of the variances, the meaning of the variances. What do we mean by the efficiency variances? What do we mean by the rate variances? What do we mean by the price variances? How do we calculate the overhead variances? Or what is the meaning of overhead variances? What are the meanings? What is the concept behind the overhead variances? What is the idea behind overhead variances? These are the things that you need to understand to be good at variances chapter. Last but not least, and one more point that I would like to make here, it is also worth noting that if you make a sheet of formula, if you make a list of formula, and then you interpret each and every formula, you not only just memorize formula of variances, but also you interpret those formulas. It will be a great way to get a good understanding of this chapter. So thank you very much. Thanks for attending. It was Muid Ahmed Siddiqui. I will keep doing sessions like this. So please stay tuned in my WhatsApp groups, and my full SIMA P1 course will start in a few days. If anyone is interested, he can contact me for registration. Uh, and last but and one more thing, that my full course will not be very expensive. It will be at affordable prices for all the students anywhere in the world. It will be at very much affordable prices. So you can contact me via WhatsApp or any other social media platform. I am also available on the Facebook, the LinkedIn. Yes, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the WhatsApp. On these three platforms, I am available. I am also available on Telegram, but not so frequently. I use Telegram, but not so frequently. So you can contact me primarily you can contact me on via WhatsApp. So make sure that you remember me for anything that you need to ask, for any kind of assistance that you need. Thank you very much. Thanks for attending. It was Muid Ahmed Siddiqui. Do let me know if you have any problem. Hoping to do end off depending on how smooth the review, planning to do it soon. Okay, Matilda. Noted. I have noted your point. I have noted that you are planning to start P1 from the end of February. Okay, I have noted. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for attending, and do let me know if you need any kind of assistance. You can contact me via social media platforms. Thank you very much.